Hey everyone, this is Marco, and today I wanted to share 5 amazing drinks that help reduce blood pressure. You might be asking, what does blood pressure have to do with lymphoma or cancer in general? Well, during the first 2 rounds of my R-EPOCH treatment, one of the things I had to deal with was high blood pressure. Before I started chemo, my baseline blood pressure was always normal, but I guess after getting my diagnosis and undergoing treatment, I got really stressed out and experienced a lot of anxiety. So that stress and anxiety manifested physically, and that included my blood pressure. Now, one of the things I had to do during chemo was hydrate a lot. This was super critical because with all the drugs my body was processing, I had to flush it out after. Basically, what happens during a cycle is that the cancer and tumor cells get broken up, and that can overload your bloodstream. So, hydrating doesn't just help you eliminate those toxins, it also helps your organs function properly. Plus, I found that my blood pressure stabilized as I increased my fluid intake. Before, I didn't really think about the importance of hydrating, but now, I realized that it's really something we take for granted. And whether you're going through chemo or not, hydrating is critical to your overall health. Now that I'm done with chemo, I'm still hydrating with good old water, but I also wondered if drinking anything else aside from water could help lower my blood pressure. After some digging and research, I've rounded up the top 5 drinks that do just that, and I'm going to share that with you today. But before we continue, could you do me a quick favor and like this video? Also, don't forget to subscribe to my Lymphoma channel and hit the notification bell so that you know when my latest video comes out. I'll also be giving away a free gift as my way of saying thanks, so keep watching to find out how to get it. Alright, let's start with number 5, which is apple cider vinegar. Now, I know that it doesn't sound like the most appealing drink out there, but hear me out. So, apple cider vinegar contains acetic acids, and studies show that it can lower renin activity in the body. Renin is an enzyme that increases blood pressure by stretching the receptors found in the vascular wall. And on top of that, apple cider vinegar also helps reduce LDL cholesterol levels in your body, which in turn lowers blood pressure. So now the question is, how do you actually drink it? The best way is to dilute 1 to 2 tablespoons in warm water, and also 1 tablespoon of cinnamon and 1 tablespoon of honey. You can have this first thing in the morning, or any time of the day if you want. One thing you should know is that you should only have it in very small doses, which is around 1 to 2 tablespoons only. Since it's very potent, having too much can lead to some side effects, like eroding the tooth enamel. And if you're diabetic, you should check with your doctor about apple cider vinegar first, because it may cause some interactions with insulin or any other medications you're taking. On that note, it's also good to check with your doctor if you do have any other conditions that require you to take medication. Other than that, just make sure to enjoy apple cider vinegar moderately. So number 4 on our list is celery juice. I found out that this is another drink that can help reduce your blood pressure, and you might prefer this one if you find apple cider vinegar too sour for your taste. Celery is packed with vitamins and has anti-inflammatory properties, which is good for the arteries. And since it's mostly made up of water, it's also low in sugar. This is important to me personally because when I did my first chemo cycle, I remember the nurse measuring my blood glucose levels, and I was surprised to see it spike a lot. Before I got sick, I wasn't diabetic at all. My blood sugar was normal, but I had to take a steroid called prednisone during my cycles, and that's what made my glucose levels go up. So, coming out of that process, I realized that one of the best ways to heal your body is through food, and celery juice is something worth adding to your diet because it also contains something called phytochemical phthalides. These are active compounds that relax the muscles in and around the arterial wall, and that helps with blood circulation and reduces blood pressure as a result. So there was a study done around 2019 in Java, Indonesia, and they tested a random group of adults with systolic hypertension. After drinking celery juice, their systolic and diastolic blood pressure improved significantly. It's pretty simple to make celery juice. All you have to do is put a bunch of celery, which is about 5 to 10 sticks, in a blender and put it on puree at high speed. After that, you can strain the pulp using a regular strainer, or you can also use a nut milk bag to separate the pulp from the celery juice. You might get different sizes of celery depending on which supermarket or store you get it from, but it's really up to you how concentrated you want your celery juice to be. And munching on celery also makes for a great snack, especially if you dip it in hummus, like I do. If you're not crazy about the taste or texture of celery, this next drink might be better for you. But before we continue, don't forget to claim your free gift by clicking the link in the description below. It's my free ebook called 5 Ways I Coped with My Lymphoma Diagnosis, and I talk about how I managed myself after I learned I had lymphoma. I think it will really help anyone who's been diagnosed with lymphoma, or any type of cancer for that matter. Okay, let's move on to number 3, which is beet juice. Beets are one of the healthiest foods in the world. They're loaded with a lot of nutrients like antioxidants, vitamin C, vitamin E, carotenes, and beta-cyanins. Beets also contain something called nitrates, which is good for the body. Nitric oxide helps relax and dilate the blood vessels, boosts blood flow, and reduces blood pressure. So, there was a 2017 study that looked at the effect of beet juice consumption on older adults, and the researchers found that just after 3 hours of drinking beet juice, their systolic, diastolic, and overall blood pressure went down by a lot. Beet juice can also significantly reduce systemic inflammation and hypertension, so that's yet another reason for you to try beet juice. Just make sure you don't consume more than a glass a day, because having too much of this could increase the risk of your blood pressure dropping too low. And of course, I recommend talking to your doctor before making any significant changes to your diet. So our number 2 drink is coconut water. This is a personal favorite of mine, and it's one of the fruits I enjoy eating the most. Here's a true story. When I was a kid, we happened to have a coconut tree in our front yard at our house in the Philippines. So that meant we always had fresh coconut water at home. When I was younger, I didn't really appreciate the benefits of always having that on hand. But now that I'm older, I realize how lucky I was to have coconut water growing up. Anyway, I do enjoy coconut water as an adult, and it's helped me a lot personally, not just with my blood pressure, but also when I had a urinary tract infection. So the great thing about coconut water is that it's low in sugar and calories. There was a study published by the West Indian Medical Journal, and they did a trial on 28 patients who had high blood pressure, and they divided the patients into 4 groups and compared their intakes of water versus coconut water. After just 2 weeks, those who drank coconut water had reduced their systolic and diastolic blood pressure by 71%. Researchers believe that the results were most likely linked to the high level of potassium in coconut water. I normally drink 1 to 2 glasses a day, and out of the drinks we've covered so far, probably the easiest for me to get into. Okay, so that leaves us with the number 1 drink that helps reduce blood pressure, which is tomato juice. So this one is rich in vitamins B and C, along with potassium. Tomato juice is also an excellent source of antioxidants, such as lycopene, which reduces inflammation and even the risk of heart disease and certain types of cancer. In fact, recent research suggests that drinking even just 1 glass of unsalted tomato juice per day may help reduce blood pressure and improve heart health. So in a study, experts looked at 184 men and 297 women who were pre-hypertensive and had actual hypertension, and the participants are asked to drink tomato juice and record their consumption over 12 months. So what they observed was that tomato juice reduced the average systolic blood pressure of the participants from 141.2 to 137 millimeters of mercury. Their diastolic blood pressure went from 83.3 to 80.9. And on top of that, another study found that drinking just a cup of tomato juice daily for 3 weeks has helped reduce things like blood clots, arterial plaque, and the risks of heart disease. In other words, tomatoes are a superfood. So that about does it for this video. Which drink is your favorite, and which one do you like that isn't on this list? Just share your thoughts in the comments below. Before you go, make sure to claim your free gift by clicking the link in the description below. It's my free book called 5 Ways I Coped with My Lymphoma Diagnosis, and I hope you like it. And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my lymphoma channel to get more updates from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.